Hello, viewers, and welcome to today's episode of Disappointed Dragon. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff in front of me here. As you would expect from someone who has impulse control problems, I have gone around and bought things, as I often do. Many of these came from thrift stores. Some of these came from a couple of other places. Just some interesting stuff I've picked up lately, so I figured I'd show them off. Some of them were really old and cool. Some of them are new and interesting. It's some fun stuff. So, starting with the newest thing. He's a little bit big, so I'll have to zoom out a little bit. Oh, zoom out. Pan up. We have here Skeletor. So I'm guessing this is from the new Masters of the Universe cartoon, which I haven't watched, but I've heard is pretty good. I actually found this at London Drugs. I was waiting for a ride at the London Drugs when I was walking around downtown. And I went into the back, and this guy was discounted from $16 to $4. And I thought, he looks really cool. It's a really interesting sculpt. He's got like little tiny legs and this giant torso. And I really like the design. However, he has really, really weird articulation. So his feet have swivels. And he has like full on like forward and back with a outer hinge there. But no knees. This arm has the same kind of ball socket joint, but no elbow. Although he does have this cool like bone hand. But then this arm has an elbow, as well as the same joint as everywhere else. So this arm, the one that holds his like goat scepter, has posability, but nothing else does. He also has a ball joint in the head, but because of his it's kind of hard to see, but because of his rubber cowl, just looks a bit weird when you move it around. Still, for $4, it's a really cool toy. It's quite heavy. It looks pretty good on the shelf. Lots of cool colors. I was still pretty happy with it. I really wish it had more posability, though. I don't understand why this arm gets a joint and this one doesn't. I know it's probably because of the molded skeleton thing, but you still could have done it. I mean, come on. But yeah, no, I just got that because I thought it was cool. But when I was there, I also found this. If you've watched the channel for a long time, you know I really like Transformers, and I have been really hankering for some Transformers lately, and when I saw this guy discount, I had to pick it up. So this is Optimus Primal. It's not based on his design from the Beast Wars movie. It's actually closer to his original design, and it was really cheap. I think it was $7. It's from this weird, like, secondary line. It's not like the main Transformers line. And all the other Transformers in it, like the Optimus and stuff, look really, really bad. But for some reason, this guy, they just gave him a little bit of extra coolness, because he's actually pretty cool in both of his modes. So, like, this is obviously Gorilla mode. It's pretty good. It doesn't have much in the way of posability. You can kind of see that his robot mode legs are just kind of being held together bent. To kind of create the back end of the gorilla there, but that's fine. What is a bit weird is he doesn't really have joints in his elbows. He has a ball joint there, but because of the way that the forearm is molded, there's no way for it to really bend more than just a slight angle. He doesn't have a cut. And of course, he doesn't really have a head joint besides moving up and down for transformation. But that being said, when you do transform him, which is pretty simple, just kind of flip him around. Oh, I forgot to spin his waist around. It's not a super complicated transformation by any means, but he does change modes. And to be fair, his original transformation wasn't that involved either, and he does look pretty close to his original design. So I think he's really cool. The guns on his back, you can put them in his hands if you want. Well, you can if you're coordinated. But they're kind of ridiculous. These little tiny guns. I actually prefer to put them up here. There's holes in his shoulders so that he can kind of imitate his original toy, which had the big shoulder cannons. I like to put them up there like that, so it's closer to the original toy. Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. It filled my itch for Transformers for a while, which is really cool. And one of my favorite things I found recently, I should say my brother found for me, there's this little privately owned sort of video game store that also happens to have retro toys from time to time. And this here is Slobster Lobster from Street Sharks. So same origin as the Extreme Dinosaurs that I've showed off before. But instead of being a dinosaur, he is a lobster. And he has, a springy claw. They have ridiculous names in the series. I'll kind of want to find the other villains because they're all ridiculous. This is Slobster the Lobster. Then there's Kilomari, who is half calamari. Oh, and there was like a drill guy. He had like a drill nose, and I can't remember what his name was, but they were ridiculous. It's a cool toy. I mean, it's just like the other Extreme Dinosaurs and stuff. Big chunk plastic, some kind of action feature, and just really cool molding. It's awesome. He goes into my shelf with all the others, and I love having him. He's a really awesome thing. I just love these. I love the design of this era of toys. They're all just so big, muscly, and awesome. And speaking of big, muscly, and ridiculous, we also found this. We're pretty sure this is a Ninja Turtles toy, but I have no idea who or what it's supposed to be. But it's got the same thing that a lot of the Ninja Turtle toys back then had, where they've got like these weird molded on, like he's got a spider there, he's got a snake on his leg. He has the same sort of articulation where they have that weird ball joint in their legs, but no knee joint or anything. He's got his one shoe open. They had this weird thing, like just if you look on his back, it's not painted, but he's got like a spider web there. So there's a gecko. They just got all this weird molded stuff, and I had a Donatello that was very similar. He was like a punk Donatello. He had like a mohawk, and he had all this weird stuff molded all over him. It's just such a weird thing. Oh, look, he even has a squished turtle on the bottom of his foot. They had this weird thing about like overly molding these guys with all these extra little bits, little lobster on his shoulder. It's crazy. I kind of love it. But he's such a weird looking guy. Like, look how wrinkly his face is. Also, really, really weird arms. This arm is like ridiculously long because it has the elbow joint. And he must have had some kind of accessory that he held before, but we found this at the Value Village, so he obviously didn't come with that. And then this hand is like pointing, so he probably held a gun, but now it just looks kind of like, I don't know, he's either trying to tell you something by checking off the things where he's pointing at you for some rude reason. I'm not really sure why. Also, he has this really, really pointy eyebrow. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. It's clearly an older toy. I think it actually says on his behind there. Yeah, 1989, Mirage Studios, Playmates Toys. So 1989, this toy is actually older than me. By just a little bit. Pretty cool, though. It's the kind of toy I would have had when I was younger. I'm a little bit worried about this arm. The rubber's a bit fragile, and I think that if I bend it too often, it'll break off, but that's not going to be a problem. He's going to go into the box of toys I bought for no reason, and eventually will go away. Along the lines of toys I bought for no reason, this Power Ranger. I bought him because, well, he's just kind of ridiculous. He's so big and so beefy, and he clearly is supposed to transform into something. So I tried to figure it out, and eventually I got him kind of pegged together into this, like, how did I do it? Oh no, that is correct. This spins around. And I got him into the only transformation that seemed to make any sense with him the way he is. And unfortunately, it still doesn't make sense. So I'll get him transformed the rest of the way. I know you can't really see it. Sorry about that. We'll get there. So he kind of... Come on. Doesn't want to click together now. It's been so long since he's been transformed, I guess. He just kind of... I think I've done it wrong. I think I've transformed him wrong. It's kind of... Come on. We don't have to get him really all the way there. It's just... Alright. So he kind of transforms into this, like, long handle. Because he's supposed to have a big bladed weapon that attaches onto this. And he turns into sort of like a weapon that you're supposed to hold. Like a big, like, flail thing. As far as I can figure it out. I tried looking it up, and I couldn't see anything else besides him being transformed like this. With, like, the blades being part of a big weapon. And I think you could also sort of transform him into, like, a weird lion thing. And this was, like, the mane, and this was the head. But either way, it's a really weird transformation. And I didn't understand it at all. It's super weird. But he isn't a bad Power Ranger toy. When he's not in his weird transformation mode, he's a pretty decent figure. Like, you know, posable. Shiny, well painted. All the things you want. He reminded me a lot of the original Transformers that had the flip around head so that they could have their helmet on or their helmet off. They would look ridiculously chunky because of it. But yeah, no, picked him up as well. I was kind of hoping he would transform into more of like a robot or something like that, but no, that wasn't the case, unfortunately. Now to some stuff that I find interesting, other people might not. We won't go through all of these. We'll just take a brief look at them. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, the original radio dramas. I really, really like radio dramas. As I said before, I showed off all of those old detective ones. These are the kinds of things I love. So it's on tapes. The thing I find really interesting is I don't believe that these are actual original Sherlock Holmes stories. The Adventure of the Innocent Murderess and The Adventure of the Iron Maiden. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I read them. But I have a feeling that these are ones made specifically for the radio show. I paid $1.99 for them. But that's great. I have a tape player I showed off before, so I'm going to definitely listen to these. I love this kind of stuff. I'm sure I could probably find these on Audible, but there's just something about having the actual tapes in these containers that I really, really like. Also still has the... Thank you for purchasing a Nova audiobook inside of it with all of this stuff in here. Oh, they want to know your income? Oh, dear. Grand Haven. I have no idea where that is. But yeah, no, that's really cool. I got 5 of them in total. All different. I'm really excited to listen to them. It says that they're all an hour long, so I guess about 30 minutes aside. Pretty cool. I love listening to that kind of stuff. Now, this one here I didn't buy. My brother picked it up for me while he was out. But it is a Gargoyles comic book. And this is awesome. So, Gargoyles, another show that came out when I was younger. It's a great series. I've watched it recently. It's on Disney+. It's fantastic. This is one of the comics. It's kind of... Well, it's Marvel Comics. So it's in a completely different art style from the show, but it's also really neat. They make them look a lot more detailed and really, really, like, exciting looking. Let's see if I can find a good example. Wearing Bermuda shorts. But yeah, the art style is very different, but it's really cool still. I love old comic books like this. It's just a cool thing to see, especially for something like Gargoyles, which was definitely one of my favorite shows. Still is. I highly suggest you watch it on Disney+. It's really good. The only problem with comics like this, when you find them especially used, like we did with this one, the story starts abruptly and ends with a cliffhanger because, you know, they wanted you to keep buying them. So they were issues and episodic. Also love the old ads on it. The movie event of the year, the 1995 edition of Casper. I watched that movie so long ago. I wonder how well it holds up. I'm kind of curious. Maybe one day I'll watch it again, but I don't think it'll be very good. And then to the last thing. This thing was really cool. I actually bought a whole bag of toys just for this. And then I don't even know what I did with the other stuff because there's nothing really interesting in it. But it is a Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie Burger King toy in theaters, August 2004. I don't even remember these being at the Burger King. If I'm honest with you, I do not remember this at all. You can collect all 20 Yu-Gi-Oh! Monster toys. So this is back when every single restaurant had toys. Like Wendy's had toys, Burger King had toys, McDonald's had toys, everywhere had toys. And sometimes they had some really cool stuff. So this is obviously for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie that came out, the Pyramid of Light. And you could get one of these 20 monsters. But it's such a weird selection of monsters. You've got old Louise the Beaver monster there. You've got, I want to say Beta the Magnet Warrior, but I can't remember if that's Alpha, Beta, or Gamma. Parrot Dragon. Oh, I can't remember. The Flying Dragon of the Fortress #1 or something like that. Karibo, Labyrinth Tank, Baby Dragon, Exodia. What's her name? Mystic Elf? Maybe? Rocket Warrior. Actually don't know what that one's supposed to be. Gate Guardian. Don't know. Pumpkin, Catapult Turtle, Time Wizard, some kind of Kraken, Giant Soldier of Stone, Legion, and Big Shield Gardna. Very odd. You'd think that they'd have like Blue Eyes or Dark Magician or something. Exodia is pretty recognizable. I guess so is Karibo and Time Wizard, but Louise the Beaver Warrior, apparently his name in Japanese is Louise, but here he's the Beaver Warrior. Still interesting. So we'll open it up. It's still in the packaging. So that's pretty cool. I have looked inside, so I do know which one it is. But it's crazy. All right. It's crazy that it was still in this. Also, I really enjoy what it is inside. So inside is another plastic pyramid. That is Baphomet. I can't remember the rest of his name. There's Pumpkin. There's Battlesteer, I want to say. Labyrinth Wall Shadow, I think. And then on the bottom we've got Thousand Dragon. It's really cool, and they all go together to form a pyramid, and you can make other stuff. But then you open it up, and inside we have our little fellow. So this is that flying dragon. I can't remember which one he is. It's like Flying Dragon #1 or #2 or something. Like there's two of them, and they're just recolors of each other. And he's on a cloud. So this is a pullback racer made for Burger King, 1996. Kazuki Takahashi, made in China. It's a pullback racer. Which you can't... I was kind of hoping he'd go a bit further so you'd see him come onto screen, but the problem is this is not a very good... doesn't work very well on this like mat. I've been meaning to change this mat, I just haven't got to it. But it does work. And, I mean, you'll hear when I pick it up. It still spins great. I love that. I've always liked pullback racers. I've shown them off on the channel a couple of times. They're great. They're a wonderful thing. They're super fun. They never really lose their novelty. Well, unless they don't go. But also, it's just really cool to find it with all of the stuff like that still in the package. This is one of the things I'm definitely going to keep. That and, of course, Slobster. Snip, snip. But a lot of this other stuff I probably won't keep. I'll eventually donate it back again. But this one I'm going to keep because this is just so cool. Reminds me of the good times when they actually put a lot of effort into the things you would get from your kids' meals. Instead of like... I continuously complain about this one that I got from McDonald's where it's just a tin with a face on it and then a cardboard body to make Superman. I was so annoyed. You go from having these cool plastic toys with gimmicks to being a piece of paper. How unfortunate. Anyways, that's all I've found lately. If I find some more interesting stuff, I'll let you guys know. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.